my channel. It is your girl Tia Zamara here, and in today's video I'm going to be finishing up my BBL story time. If this is your first time seeing me, then A, you're not subscribed, so go ahead and do that for your girl, and 2, that means you didn't watch my BBL story time part 1. In part 1 I talked about everything that happened pre-op, so definitely watch that video and then come back to this one. Okay, but if you already watched that video, then we're just going to be pretty much picking up exactly where we left off, and I'll be discussing everything that happened post-op with you guys. Now keep in mind, I am going to be doing a Q&A video after these two have gotten enough views. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, and literally I will be giving you the best detailed answer in my Q&A video. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it, because we don't want to make this super long again. So I pretty much left off telling you guys that I was released from surgery and I was on my way back to the hotel. Now when I got back to the hotel, I remember looking at the time and it was 4:14. I went into surgery, you guys, at 2:41. If you ask me, even though they say a BBL only takes an hour and 15 to an hour and 30 minutes, I do feel like my surgery was a little bit on the rush side, just because I only had 3,000 cc's of fat taken out. And the max is 4,000, and I still had a little bit of fatty areas that could have been, you know, taken care of, all in that one round. But then again, I did go in March. I don't think I said this in my last video, but March is like high season. Everybody who gets their taxes and back or whatever, they go and get their surgery done, and I didn't know that. If I could do this all over again, I would definitely be getting my surgery in like November or December, not during tax season, okay? So anyways, you guys, I got back to the hotel at 4:14, and all I really wanted to do was go to sleep. I have a very high pain tolerance, and I know that a lot of things are mind over matter, so I knew that if I was just to go to sleep, by the time I woke up, I wouldn't be in as much pain as I was, you know, in that moment. The pain level was on a 10, you guys, and that is because of my stomach. Literally, my butt was not hurting, my back was not hurting. It was just all stomach. It literally felt like somebody rubbed my stomach down with gasoline and then just lit it on fire. Like, I felt like if I would have took my faja off, my skin would have looked all wrinkly and raw and red. Y'all, my stomach was on fire. So I had already had my bed set so that when I came in, I can just immediately lay down. And what I did to set my bed, as you can see in this picture here, I pretty much just took off all of the like big sheets and comforters and had it down to just the fitted sheet and like a thin sheet that went over top of that. And then I put down a shower curtain, and then I put down 4 big dog pads over top of that. Now you may ask, dog pads? Why dog pads? Now, I use dog pads instead of Chucks, you guys, because dog pads were cheaper. They came more in a pack, and you know, it's the same thing basically. Now, I did get the unscented ones just to be on the safe side. I don't really think it matters since you are going to be clothed while you're over top of them, but whatever. Anyways, that method, the shower curtain and then the dog pads on top, that definitely helped me from making any mess on the hotel sheets. Didn't make any mess, didn't have any fluid leak out, therefore I wasn't charged an extra fee, okay? Now, in the time that I was up, I pretty much was just trying to do things to get me go to sleep. So the first thing I did was take a Tylenol PM. I opted to take Tylenol PM before Percocet because I really wanted to stay away from Percocet as much as possible, because I wanted to stay away from the side effects as much as possible. That Tylenol PM did not do nothing for me though, you guys. So after about 10 minutes, I was like, all right, hand me the Percocet. I took 2 Percocets. Again, the Percocets are 5 milligrams that they prescribe you. I don't know if that is safe. A Tylenol PM and 2 Percocets. I don't know, but I'm still alive, so it is what it is. In that time period that I was up, I did have to take some pictures because I just had to see what I looked like before I laid my head down to rest, okay? And here are the pictures that I took. If you already watched part 1, then you already seen these pictures, but honey, I was snatched. These were literally like minutes after the surgery, okay? So I'm still swollen, but you can still see that booty is plump and that waist is snatched, okay? I woke up at about 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish, and I was starving, okay? I told you guys I didn't eat. My last meal was at 8 o'clock p.m. the previous day, so I pretty much went 24 hours with no food at this point. They told me to stick to a liquid-based diet in the first 48 hours. So things such as like soups and Powerade and water and stuff like that is what they wanted me to eat. So I had some chicken noodle soup. I did get soup that had low sodium because you want to stay away from salt, you guys, right after surgery, because your body will enter what is called swell hell, and it does not feel good, okay? When you when you eat salt right after the surgery, your body swells up horribly, and it just hurts, okay? So the soup was low sodium. I also had a Powerade. I had a little bit of ginger ale. I had some water. I tried to have some pineapple juice, you guys, but I had to fight for my pineapple juice because my nurse, aka my boyfriend, was super strict. And the paperwork that Mia Aesthetics gave us didn't say that I could have pineapple juice, so this nigga really was just not trying to give me my pineapple juice. I fought for it though, and I got it, and I threw up immediately right after eating and drinking all of those fluids. That throw up was the worst, you guys, because you could feel your stomach curling. You can feel everything in your, it just hurts. It just hurts, okay? So while I was throwing up, which made things even worse, and this might be TMI, but I like to give deets, you guys, I kind of squirted out just a little bit of pee, and it was made things even more worse because I had already had all these fluids soaking up my faja. Now I got even more fluid down there in the crotch area. So I went to the bathroom. I tried to clean up as much as possible with like baby wipes and you know, dry towels and rags and things like that. But you cannot take your faja off until after your first post-op appointment. So there ain't no washing and trying to be all clean and stuff like that in the first 24 hours after your surgery. So anyways, you guys, that night was pretty easy. I went to sleep. I think I slept the whole night through. I don't really remember waking up that first night. And the next day, I went to my first post-op appointment. Now, that post-op appointment, you guys, was horrible. One, because you have to wait like an hour and a half anytime you go to Mia Aesthetics for anything, okay? And, y'all, the fluid that comes out of you, well, let me say this first. Alvarez, he doesn't use drains. So he just lets everything come out naturally or whatever. And the fluid that comes out of you smells like raw chicken juice. Like, it literally smells like when you thaw out chicken and that bloody water that just be soaked up in the corners of that tray. It smells just like that. So imagine being in the room for an hour and a half with like 10 other girls waiting to be seen, all smelling like that. Like, I just couldn't take it, y'all. And then it's like little to no seating because, you know, you can't really sit on, well, you can't sit on your butt. So everybody's just standing and kneeling everywhere. And I cannot stand up for an hour and a half, you guys. I can barely stand up for 10 minutes without my dogs barking, okay? So eventually I did get called back, and I was under the impression, you guys, that I was just there for the post-op appointment. Dr. Alvarez was just going to check me out, see if everything was going good so far. But apparently I was there to get a massage too. So I had completely forgot that it came with a free massage. So when I got called back to one of the massage rooms. I was told to take off my faja and throw away like all of the gauze pads and stuff that they had inside of my faja to catch some of the fluid, and then just lay down on the bed and wait for Alvarez and the massage therapist to come in. So Alvarez comes in. He pretty much asked me if I had any questions. I didn't really have any questions. And he was just like, all right, well, you look good. It wasn't like he touched me or like looked at any of my scars or, I mean, any of my incision marks or anything like that. He literally just walked in and asked me how I was feeling, asked me if I had any questions, and then literally left. And about 5 minutes later, one of the massage therapists came in. Mia Aesthetics is really like good at like posting everything on social media, so I don't remember this guy's name, but it's the Spanish guy, okay? And so he came in, and y'all, he started massaging my back. My body was just so sensitive to touch. Like, it literally hurt as soon as he touched my body. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to brace this, but this is killing me. So he started with my back, and literally after about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, he tells me to kind of like sit up on my knees on top of the table. Soon as I did that, you guys, I just automatically felt dizzy. I didn't say anything because I was really trying to tough it out, and I thought that maybe this is how it was supposed to feel, but I just felt really dizzy, you guys. And then he started like pushing on my stomach to try to start getting some of the fluid out in my stomach area, and y'all, I couldn't take it. I was like, I'm a faint. Right after I said that, he just ran across the room, you guys, grabbed some alcohol, a peppermint, and he put the peppermint in my mouth, made me smell the alcohol. And honestly, you guys, I just felt 100% better. So I ended up using that trick all throughout my post-op journey. Anytime I felt sick or faint, I would just put a peppermint in my mouth and smell some alcohol. So he pretty much just gave up after that. He didn't even want to continue. I could have kept going. You know, I could have tried to sit down again and bear through it. But he just was like, all right, well, whatever, bye. And I'm just like, okay, like, I ain't planning to get my massages with y'all anyways. So I ended up going back to the hotel, and I just couldn't wait to get there, you guys, because I just really wanted to get a shower. My shower was something else. Like, I could not for the life of me bend down to wash my legs. I couldn't stretch my arms to wash my back. I couldn't stretch my arms to wash my butt. Like, y'all, it was crazy. So I pretty much was only able to wash my lady parts, my face, my whole front torso pretty much. I wasn't able to wash anything else. So my boyfriend had to step in and clean me up. And honestly, you guys, I couldn't imagine anybody else having to do that. So I'm happy that I brought my boyfriend along with me. I wouldn't have been able to let a recovery nurse touch me down there in my lady parts. I wouldn't have been able to have like just a random recovery home nurse, owner, CNA, whoever do that. It just would have been too awkward for me. I mean, of course, I would have had to let them do it to get clean, but I just couldn't imagine doing it. So anyways, after I got out of the shower, you guys, I pretty much started lotioning up. What I used Arnica cream to like lotion up my stomach and my back and my butt area. When I was using the cream, like rubbing it in, fluid started leaking out of like all of my incision marks or whatever, or places, whatever. And I just stood over a dog pad and kind of just continued to rub in or whatever. Not really rub hard because I didn't want to mess anything up, but I was just kind of like, you know, gliding my hands across everything or whatever, letting all the extra fluid get out. And I pretty much got enough of it out to a point where it was able to stop, and I was able to put on my bandages. Now, during this whole time, I did have my faja in the washing machine. By the time I got out the shower, I was ready to, you know, just hang it up and let it dry while I was out to get my massages. Now, when I got to Medical Massage Professionals, which is literally like right next door to New Life, I was asked if I took Percocet. I was asked, like, did I eat? I did take a Percocet right before I got there because I learned my lesson with that first massage, okay? And I told them that all I had was like soup or whatever, because Mia Aesthetics told me to stick to a like liquid-based diet after, you know, for the first 48 hours after surgery. They were like, oh no, you need to eat, otherwise you're gonna faint. So I'm like, oh Lord, here we go again. And so they were like, we'll still do it, but we're just gonna, you know, not do it as harsh as we normally would. They really worked with me. Like I said in my previous video, the massages were an hour long. They weren't just massaging my stomach and my back area. They were massaging like my legs. They were massaging like my arms. They were getting in there. They was getting everything. That massage was a little bit tough, but I sticked it out with the whole alcohol and peppermint method, okay? Once my massage was finished, I pretty much just headed back to the hotel. Since they told me I could eat, the first thing I did was run to Chipotle, honey, and I got me a bowl, okay? And I tore that thing up. Now, literally, guys, it took about 10 minutes till I was off running to the bathroom, and that Chipotle did it for me, okay? I did not have to go through any of the little extra constipation and waiting for my first sugar honey iced tea or none of that, you guys. I was in in that bathroom right after that Chipotle, okay? And how I use the bathroom after, you know, the surgery or whatever, since, you know, you can't sit on the toilet. If I had to pee, I would use my female urinal, and if I had to take a number 2, I would roll up a towel, sit it underneath my thighs, and literally like lean forward and hold on to like the wall or like whatever was in front of me so that my butt could be off the toilet. There was definitely a few messes made along the way, along the journey, y'all, but it just all comes with the, you know, with the beauty, with the body, okay? Now, that is pretty much how my days went, like every day after that first post-op appointment. And I left this part out too. The first day we would pretty much just walk around the hotel. Like, we would walk around the hotel, we would walk around outside, we would walk around the area, we would just walk. Because you want to walk as much as possible to prevent yourself from getting a blood clot. So yeah, that's pretty much what we did every day. As far as like food, there was a Denny's right by the hotel, there was Chipotle, there was Dunkin' Donuts, there was a Cuban spot, there was like a whole shopping center across the street. I mainly ate Chipotle and Denny's. And yeah, so day 5 finally came, and day 5 is the day that you're allowed to finally go home. You have to be there for surgery a day before the surgery date, and then you have to stay 5 days post-op after the actual surgery day. So you come on I came on a Thursday, surgery was on Friday, and then I had to stay Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So when Wednesday came, I went to go get my final post-op appointment taken care of. In that appointment, I pretty much just sat in the back for about 20 minutes. This was the fastest appointment, y'all. I sat in the back for about 20 minutes. I was called by the physician's assistant. She asked me if I had any questions. I said no. Y'all, I don't know why I just didn't have no questions. I guess because I really just did enough research. But I pretty much said no, I didn't have any questions. And she gave me some paperwork to give to the flight attendants to let them know that I had just had a surgery and that I would need to be specially accommodated. And yeah, I just went on about my way. After my final post-op appointment, I went straight to the airport. I got there about an hour and a half early. I was able to get through just fine with you know, all of my gear on. Nobody asked to like double check me or anything. I kept my lipophones in, I kept my ab board in, I kept my back board in, had my faja on, I had a maxi dress on. They might have been able to tell that I had just gotten surgery anyways by the way that I was walking. Plus I had my BBL pillow out, so I don't know, but I didn't get double checked, whatever. So after about an hour of waiting in the airport for our flight, you guys, we finally get a notification letting us know that our flight was delayed. And this is where everything really started to go sour. Like, this whole thing, this whole one thing affected my whole post-op journey, you guys. So we get the alert letting us know that our flight was delayed 3 hours. So at this point, you know, I'm sitting in the airport even longer. I'm not able to actually sit on my butt. I'm not able to stand for a long time because I told you guys my dogs be barking, okay? I am not able to really kneel in the airport chairs for a long time because it was just uncomfortable. I wasn't able to really sit on my BBL pillow like how I wanted to without feeling like I was, you know, squishing some of my fat cells. Laying on the floor, like, even though I had a towel down and I used my BBL pillow as like a head pillow, it was just very uncomfortable. I became very like sweaty. I tried to clean myself up a little bit in the bathroom, but it just wasn't working, you guys. It just wasn't enough. It was just, you know, it was very irritating, to say the least. So I get on the plane finally, you guys, and this first plane ride, it was smooth. I showed the flight attendant my my letter saying that I needed to be accommodated. I was able to board the flight first. When I got on the plane, she made sure I had a whole row to myself. I was able to lay down and, you know, keep my feet up in the air. I was twirling my feet around. I was walking up and down the aisles, basically trying to make sure that I wasn't getting a blood clot. And that first flight was just really smooth. At the end of the flight, she knew that we had a connecting flight or whatever, and it was literally like crunch time. It was literally like no time in between the flight landing and the next flight that we needed to be on taking off. So she even let us, you know, move up to the seats all the way in the front. And get off of the flight first. But that really didn't do much, you guys, because like I said, there was really no time in between that flight landing because it was delayed and our next flight taking off. Those 3 hours that it was delayed was 3 hours that we had in between the flights, you guys. So anyways, we get off this flight and my boyfriend just takes off running because he knows that we got to get on that next flight, and it's, as long as he gets there, he can hold it, he can do whatever he needs to do to make sure that I get on the plane too. Like I said earlier in this video, you cannot, your cheeks cannot spread that far, so you cannot walk but so fast, and you can't even run, okay? It's hard to walk, so you can't even power walk, y'all. So I'm running, as I'm trying my best to run through the airport, all the escalators that were available. I was, you know, like taking breaks on them, but I was still trying to walk through them or whatever, y'all. It was just it was a mess. To say the least, we got to the second flight. By the time we got on that flight, you guys, I was drenched. I was sweaty, okay? I was sweating so bad. We get on that flight. The whole flight is packed. Not one extra seat. Not one. And to top it off, the person next to me, big as day, whole body out in the aisle. The person in front of me, rude as hell. I leaned forward and I'm like, hey, I just had surgery. Do you mind if I like kind of hold on to your chair to, you know, keep myself sitting a certain way? Ignored me. He ignored me. So I'm like, okay, little fucker, that's what I'm gonna do it anyways. Y'all, I'm sitting on my BBL pillow. I got my seatbelt on. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. I didn't have time to really cool down at all. I'm leaning forward, and me leaning forward is like pressing. I don't know. My stomach was pretty much scrunched together, and my fluids start leaking. So now I have the smell of my sweat, which is horrible. I have the smell of this raw chicken fluid, which was double horrible. I'm hot. I got on this hot faja. I have a unusually large cooter, okay? It's not camel, but it's borderline, okay? And this faja is suffocating it due to the way that I have to sit. So y'all already know what happened. Y'all already know what happens in tight, dark, moist areas, okay? So as soon as I got home, I just knew I had a yeast infection. I ran straight to Walmart. I got me some yeast infection pills. I never had a yeast infection, you guys, so I don't know if it truly was one, but I just knew I was going to have one. So I started preparing myself to start taking care of that before, you know, some real bad symptoms started happening. And I got to still wear this faja and all that extra stuff. So you guys, about the second day, I realized that it's not a yeast infection. It's a rash. It's a whole freaking rash. I'm in the shower, washing up or whatever, and I decide, you know, get in between, you know, them crevices or whatever, and it's skin, like it was skin on my rag. I'm like, my skin was literally like peeling off. Y'all. So I started trying to treat it as if it was a rash or whatever. The first 2 nights was just horrible, trying to put that faja on and the cream and all that extra stuff. It was just bad. It was bad. So by the 3rd night, I decided, you know what, I'm going to have to let everything breathe down there. I can't wear the faja. Take the faja off for a couple of nights. Those nights were horrible. I was always waking up, you guys. I was in swell hell. It literally, your body literally feels like a big old block that just can't move. It was horrible. Then, to top that off, I started losing feeling in like my hand. I started like feeling shit in my legs, and I don't know if it was just me overthinking or not, but I know for a fact, like, I was losing feeling in my hands, like, all the time. Like, I really never could feel my fingers. It was like they were always asleep. The leg thing, it might have been in my head because I was so scared of getting a blood clot, but yeah. So to top that off, the rash thing, I now have to go to the hospital. Well, I went to the hospital on my own. I didn't have to, but I went because I was just too scared of, like, you know, something happened. I didn't know why I couldn't feel my fingers or whatever. And it was only an occasional thing, but I didn't like it. Went to the hospital, everything checked out. I had a CAT scan, I had an ultrasound, like, on my legs and stuff like that or whatever. And they pretty much just said, like, I probably needed more electrolytes. They didn't really tell me a real reason, but yeah. And after that, you guys, it was just like, it was a mess. It was just a mess. So I would say I didn't get the whole rash thing under control until about maybe a week and a half post-op. Also at that week and a half, like, post-op mark, I started noticing that my faja wasn't fitting the same. It was always a little bit too loose. So I started trying to move on to my stage 2 faja. Now, I was fitted for my stage 2 while I was down in Miami, y'all. Now that I'm back home, now all of a sudden the shit is too small. I was really, really struggling, you guys. Like, I was really struggling. The shit was too small. So I'm like, okay, you know what? They told me not to change the faja until, I believe, 3 weeks from stage 1 to stage 2. I know that the stage 1 is getting too loose and it's no longer compressing me, but I can't fit the stage 2. So I started wearing, like, not really a waist trainer, but like a waist cincher. So it didn't have any of the steel bones or anything like that in it. And you want to make sure that if you do decide to do that, it doesn't have any of, like, the steel or the plastic bones in it, because, you know, that can, your body is kind of like Play-Doh right after surgery. So your surgeon can make you look a certain way right off the table, but it's pretty much up to you how you know your body really turns out after that, because you can mold your body pretty much any way, shape, or form after that, and it can seriously permanently stay like that. So you got to be careful about what you tie around that waist after the surgery, y'all. So anywho, I decided to start putting, like, a waist cincher around or whatever. And about week 3, I finally learned how to appropriately put on the stage 2 faja, y'all. It wasn't small. I literally was just putting it on wrong the whole time. I had basically took off all of the little clips or whatever, and I was just trying to put one leg in and then the other leg in and pull it up like it was a romper or something. And that's not the case. You actually need to at least strap up the first 4 hooks or whatever, and then put one leg in, and then pull it up, and then button up all of the rest of the hooks. And that worked out fine, but everything was just messed up, you guys. By week 5, I just wasn't even wearing my faja anymore. That stage 2 faja had became too loose too, and every time I tried to take my faja to get it altered, the lady was always busy, or she wasn't able to get it back to me until 2 weeks later. All the fajas that I wanted that were online, they weren't going to get to me in 2 weeks. So I'm like, okay, I have to wear a faja. So I kept switching out between my stage 2 faja and my stage 1 and using the waist cincher or whatever. But eventually it just got, like, useless, and so I just gave up on the whole faja thing. Like I said, I got my surgery in March, so around this time, 5 weeks later, it was damn near May. It's hot as hell outside. It was hot as hell at work. It was just a mess, you guys. So I just stopped wearing it. And by the way, I just said work, and that just reminded me, I did go to work at 11 days post-op. 11 days post-op, though, I only went to work for 2 hours, and I did have a sit-down job, but they pretty much were aware of my whole situation, so they allowed me to stand, they allowed me to kneel, they allowed me to pretty much do whatever I needed to do to, you know, have a good work day. After day 11, when I went back for 2 hours, I didn't go back to work until day 14. So yeah, that's that. Now what was I talking about? Yeah, I ditched my faja after 5 weeks. Now, also, you guys, I forgot to talk about this too. This was another problem that I ran into once I actually got back home. When I got back home, I had already had a massage therapist picked out to do my lymphatic drainage massages. But y'all, I got there and the lady didn't even have like a Chuck's pad down. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's sign number one. She don't know what the hell about to go down. She obviously want to get her sheets messed up because it's blood, it's fluid that's about to come out of here, baby. You like what? Then sign two, she didn't know what the hell she was doing. She told me to lay down on my back. Sis, I can't lay on my back yet. I can't sit on my butt. I cannot put any pressure on my butt, huh? I'm like, I just had a BBL, a Brazilian butt lift. I can't sit on my butt yet. Like, no, I can't lay on my back. This is how they were doing it down there. Can I do this here? Then sign three. Instead of her actually trying to push the fluid out of me, she's going like this, y'all. And I found out that she was doing like a sports lymphatic drainage massage, not really like one that was catered to somebody who just had like lipo. So y'all, it was just horrible. Then I started trying to find like other people here in Virginia, and I told y'all Virginia is just whack as hell when it comes to the whole surgery shit. So there really is just, there was not a lot of places left for me to try to choose from or find or whatever. I finally found somebody else at like 3 or 4 weeks post-op, and she was doing an okay job, but at that point all of my scars had already healed, and so all of the fluid that needs to be drained is going to come out of my pee. So at that point I kind of felt like it was kind of pointless. I mean, you still should go on with your massages if for the absolute best results, but at that point I kind of felt like, you know, I had already learned how to start doing my own massages at home through watching different YouTube videos. I even had like a little massage, I had a wall massager. I'll leave a picture of it, you know, here in the video, whatever. I was able to use that, and I was drinking the candula tea or whatever, and I was still drinking my arnica tea. So I just felt like I had it on my own. These people weren't really doing much for me. It wasn't till literally like 9 months post-op that I found somebody here who does them and does them the correct way. But at that point it was just like, okay, like it's really pointless now. Then, okay, to really top it off, I have this gate up in my kitchen. It's like a child gate or whatever, but I use it for my dog. I thought that I could fit through the dog gate, you guys, because it has like a little door or whatever. I thought I could fit through it. I didn't know my butt was that big. I went just like this, y'all, just like this. I tried to whoop, whoop. I tried to curve my butt over the top of the gate. Y'all, I ran right into the gate, and a whole nice little chunk of fat shifted. It just shifted all this fat right to like one little corner pocket in my butt. Y'all, I will leave a picture right here of what this little lump looks like. So you guys, you can only see it at certain angles. So here's a picture of like me at like just, I guess, whatever angle. And then here's the picture of me at this like kind of side angle where you can see that little lump. I hate it. I hate it, and I was so mad, and that shit hurt so bad. Like you could feel the burning. I just knew my fat cells was gonna die, but them shits didn't die. They just scooted the fuck over. So, y'all, I just went through hell once I got back home. I really wish I could have just recovered all the way in Miami, because it seemed like everything was fine when I was down there. So, yeah. Whew. But anyways, I give my results probably about like a 8 out of 10. I really good, just because I really feel like everything could have went down in one round. I do kind of feel like I kind of sort of want a round 2. I'm not sure if I really want a round 2 BBL or if I just want to get lipo. I definitely want this waist to go in a little bit more. I am going to try to work out. I am going to try to work out first, okay? Because I do want to get down to like a good 175 pounds, okay? But if I work out and I get to my 175 goal weight and my waist still ain't as small as I wanted, you know, malnutrition, ribs showing and all, then I'm gonna just, you know, go back for a lipo, maybe. I can't really imagine having to go through a whole BBL process again, but I don't know. We don't know what the future holds, so yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of like go through some pics here, you guys, because your body really does go through like a lot of different changes, and so you will definitely be on a whole emotional roller coaster. Here's me at 3 weeks post-op, you guys. I seriously thought like the shit was a waste of money. I felt like I didn't see a difference at all. People of course was telling me, T, you're crazy butt, like your butt is definitely bigger, but I didn't feel like my butt was bigger in comparison to my actual, you know, pre-op photos. Like I really didn't see much of a change. My stomach wasn't as, you know, sunk in as I thought it could be. Like my waist wasn't as defined as I thought it could be. My butt wasn't as boof as I thought it would be. But then by the like 2 months, well actually no, by the 6 week mark, I was like, okay, like I started kind of noticing a little bit of changes. Like I'm like, okay, my waist is kind of going in just like how I want it. My butt didn't really drop like how I thought it was going to drop, but I was still hopeful, still trusting the process that, you know, something would change. By the 2.5 month mark, almost 3 month mark, I definitely started seeing my butt kind of like fluff. It was fluffing, okay? It wasn't all the way fluffed, but I thought it was at the time, but it was definitely fluffing, okay? Then as I approached the 9 month mark, I was like, honey, okay? Honey, sugar pie. That's an ass. Y'all, that thing had fluffed all the way out at 9 months post-op, okay? Even when you think your butt has fluffed, honey, it ain't done, okay? It's not done. You really just have to trust the whole process. You are going to go through an emotional roller coaster. You know, they told me this before the surgery. I wasn't really listening to them because I felt like I knew like my body was going to be snatched. And I didn't really, you know, like I said, I didn't really have like full intent on having this big old butt. I really didn't care. It was more so a want than something I felt like I needed. What I felt like I needed was my stomach gone, okay? I didn't care how it went. I just wanted it gone. And so like after the surgery, when I'm like, where's my butt? Like I actually kind of cared about having a butt because it's like I paid for it. Where's that? Okay. And so when I started seeing like my results, whatever, I'm like, honey, this is not true. This is not it. No, I was really like, I did not go this long time without sitting for this. I did not get a rash for this. I didn't, huh? But then like literally, you guys, time just went on and now I absolutely love my results. Yes, even though I do say like, you know, I feel like they could have been a little bit better, I definitely have came a long way, honey. You could not have told me before I got the surgery done that my butt was unshapely. You could not have told me that I had a square ass. You could not have told me that I did not have an ass, because I truly thought I did. Now looking back at my pictures, I'm like, what the hell? What? So yeah, you guys, I love it. 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 And yeah, I think that is like pretty much all I have to say about my post-op journey. I'm really trying to think if I'm leaving anything out. I feel like I am. If I like really left out anything important that I really want to talk about, I really wanted to talk about, I'll just talk about it in my Q&A video. Remember, I am doing a question and answer video, so leave all of your questions that want to be answered down in the comment section below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.